Hello, my loves. This is Heidi Hancock with your weekly oracle reading for August 31 to September 6th. Shall we tune in? So last week, we've been talking about the cooking in the pot. And last week, we had this energy, this essence of the boiling and the steam rising that we could see and kind of feel outside of us the week before. This last week, the feeling of that kind of infiltrating our whole system. So we're at a place now where it has infiltrated all the way through our whole system. So there's no part left of us that has not been touched by the heat, the call to change, the shift, whatever you want to call it, the new world that we're moving into. And so on the one hand, when you're following a recipe and it says bring it to a boil and then reduce the heat, that's where we are. So the boil has happened and now we've reduced the heat. So what that means is that there's this kind of steadiness, a steady warmth. Okay, so now we're going to start letting all of that stuff come up that has been coming up. But there's a slowerness, a slower essence to it. So I'll talk about this a little bit more in the September soul message, which will go out, either tomorrow or the next day. So I'll talk about the Mars retrograde and the Venus retrograde that we just had a little bit more. But just for the purposes of this week, Mars goes into retrograde September 9. So we are in the setup phase for that already. We're already feeling the energy, and it's going to be there for 5 months. That is the review, the reassessment of all the masculine energy, how that shows up inside, how that shows up outside, all of those things. So I see that 5 months as like this steadiness of the boil, right? It's like we're simmering. And we're going in and we're figuring out, okay, what needs to go, what is going to stay, what feels in alignment still, and what needs to move out. So last week I did a story really briefly about this insight that I had that was this discomfort that we've been feeling feels like we're dying on the inside. That's why we have this sense of resistance to it. And it's like, oh my God, I don't want it to come all the way in, because what part of me gets to stay after this? It's, it's kind of a freaky thing, and we want to like cling on to it because we think, oh my God, am I dying or what's happening? So with that, last week I had this insight that was like, oh, we're not dying. The old part of us is not dying. It's already dead. And so it's like we're dragging a corpse around of the old version of ourselves. And it's almost as if then, like we've been using this corpse, and to be less morbid, I'll say, let's say you had a different outfit on. And it's like we used this outfit as a mask in the past because the mask helped us to not be too vulnerable. So Glennon Doyle talks about this in, I think it was in her first book or second book. I think it was The Love Warrior. She talked about sending out her representative and this sense of, your representative is that person that you send out in front of you so that the real you doesn't have to be vulnerable to be seen. And so you put on an outfit, you put on a mask, and that part of us is dead now, and it doesn't work, and it's like an old tool that won't work in the new environment that we're going into. But we're going to try to make it work. So over the next 5 months, what I'm seeing is this sense of like, putting our clothes on and trying to act as we used to and use these tools to try to keep us safe, but over time we'll realize that they don't work anymore. So for people that are really paying attention, awake, attuned, checking this out, they're going to figure out that the old them is already dead sooner. And it will just take longer, for different people as they move through it to figure out like, oh, right, yeah, I can't use this tool anymore. And I think the essence of it is that we're all getting to a place of realizing that we're all one and all there is love. And that's the vibration that we want to tune into. But we have used these masks. And so it's almost like this floppiness, like we're trying to continue to use that tool and bring that in and go, okay, well, what if I do this thing like I used to do? And it just doesn't work anymore. So the discomfort that is coming in now is the sense of like, well, we have to be vulnerable, right? Because if this corpse is here and I can't use it anymore and these clothes don't work anymore, I have to reveal myself and be vulnerable. So I'll talk about that more in the September soul message. Let's pick a card. See what's going on for this week. See what's going to help us with this energy. And it is, oh, I love it. We got this card a couple months ago in the soul message. It's the gem. So I think it was July, I talked about we were going down into the underworld. We were diving into the underworld. And what we were going to find is the gem. And that is coming up really big right now, where we're starting to see that gem. And I'll talk about that more in the September soul message. Okay, let's read this. This is a really beautiful card. Very affirming that we are, in fact, getting somewhere with all of this. Okay, the gem, the diamond, the gold, the inner treasure. There are infinite names for the gem. It is also known as the jewel, the star, the talent, the gift, the gold. One thing for certain is that it is found deep within a substance that is very much unlike it. For example, a diamond in the rough, the gem, the jewel in the underworld. The gem always stands in contrast to its surroundings. You can't find it when you are among comforts and pleasantries. Precious stones develop slowly deep in the earth amid pressure and darkness. Discovering the gem requires a descent beneath the surface where there is no definitive map. Yet the longing to touch the true gem within us is so strong that we cannot help but seek out its radiance. Your gem, like your destiny, is unlike any other in the entire world. Keep digging. When light, unique, shining, generative, irreplaceable. When dark, envy, greed, grasping. The moments of your life that glimmer are clues to where the gem resides. Don't covet the sparkling diamond of another. The gem is like a fingerprint, never to be repeated again. Find yours. In mythology, the diamond is often linked to the daemon or inner light that leads us toward our true self, our purpose, our destiny. So what this says to me, beautiful, is the gem is us. The gem is the authentic self that's underneath the corpse, that's underneath all that clothing that we thought we needed to protect ourselves, that we thought that we needed to represent ourselves so that we would fit in, basically. I mean, that's all that it's about, so that we would belong, all of that. And so we're discovering now that the gem is the true us, the one that was behind all of that. And we want to bring that out. Now, there might be a little fear, a little terror about that. I'll talk about that too more in the September soul message, but that's where we're going. So you are the gem. Own it, love yourself, take care of you, and the rest will follow. All right, have a wonderful week. Namaste. Oh, and a hummingbird's coming to visit right as I finish. All right, love you.